See, I'm a shameless lover of ChatGPT, and that's because ChatGPT has changed my life in a very, very wonderful and amazing way that I can't even put into words in this past 1 year. I remember the first time I discovered ChatGPT, it was through one of my bosses in Hong Kong that I was working for at the time. What I normally do for the brand was I was managing team across various locations. So there's this report that I normally prepare for her. And when I prepare the report, you say, okay, Kerry, they want you to write this in British English, not American English. They want you to write it in this context, not in this context. I'm like, hey God, how many English did I learn that I'll be able to know the difference between British English and American English? So she was like, okay, you know what? If you're finding it difficult, just use ChatGPT, OpenAI, create an account, and when you finish writing, just tell it to rewrite it for you in British English. And when you're done, you can also, because your report is usually longer than others, just tell it to make it concise. And I just tried it. I'm like, what? I was so fascinated by it that okay, so I can give something instruction and it can just write everything for me. So, and I've been using it ever since for even things that people will be like, Kerry, you are using ChatGPT for this. Everything you can ever think of. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your ChatGPT account to make sure you get the optimal results that you need for effective productivity. Now, what do you need to do? First thing is you need to create an account. Yes, you can use ChatGPT on the web. You can also maybe use it on your phone. But the reason why it's very important to create an account is because when you log in to your account to use ChatGPT constantly over time, it records the responses and you guys' conversation. So it starts customizing the kind of responses to your personality type based on the formal questions you've been asking and the conversations both of you have been having. It's just like making a friend. When you make a friend with somebody, over time they'll be able to say, oh, this person can do this, or this person cannot do this. I'm not trying to start trusting everybody, but at least you can be able to vouch for the capacity somebody have. So it's very important to create an account when you're using ChatGPT. Now, the second thing, when you create an account, is always very good to customize your account. Most people don't know this, but when you create an account, you can go to your page and customize it. And in that part, you can just put as much information about you as possible. For example, you can tell ChatGPT where you work, what you do. If you have a company, you can tell ChatGPT about your company, your lifestyle preferences, some words you would prefer to see in responses against some words, and also some languages you prefer it to use, how you want your responses to come off, if you want it to be professional, if you want it to be formal, if you want it to be warm, if you want the tone to always be firm. Put these instructions back in so that it also saves you the time when you're giving it new instructions and having to put this all over and over again. If you also want it to write in a particular language, maybe American English, British English, if you want it to always give you responses in prose or in bullet points, you can put it in your back end so that it helps you to naturally customize every of your responses. Now, number 3, which is very important, is always give full context. So I understand that, yes, ChatGPT is a tool. I mean, it's AI, and you can always assume that AIs can do anything, right? Yes. But in order for you to get excellent results, it's very, very important for you to provide every context. So say, for example, you want ChatGPT to put together a resume for you, and you just go on ChatGPT and you're like, hi, I want you to put together a resume for me. My name is Kerry, and I've worked in social location, this is that. The response it will give you is different from look at this. Instead of saying hi, put together a CV for me, or hi, fix my CV, it's going to be different from you saying this. Hi, my name is Kerry Ngozi Blessing, and I have worked as a social media manager in social company between this and this year. I've also worked between this and this year. That is if you're not attaching the resume. And then when you put all of this information, then you can also tell it that I am looking to explore roles in project management, or being a digital marketing executive, or being an engagement specialist. And I am looking to get roles in startup, or I'm looking to get roles in companies in a particular location. And I would like you to please customize my resume to make it ATS friendly and put keywords that you would naturally find in a social media manager job description in my resume, and make sure it can catch the eyes of the recruiter. Also, make sure that you focus on the results I have achieved over time and highlight this in bold print. Now, imagine that kind of instruction compared to just saying fix my CV. It may seem like it is long or is a lot, but the more context you give ChatGPT, one, the more time it will save you going back and forth, and the more time it's going to actually save you having to check results. You're not pleased with now asking it, make it better, make it better, make it better is also not an instruction. So you have to be very, very detailed. Another thing is you need to be clear about the kind of format and the tone you want it to use. If you're also especially using ChatGPT for messaging, you need to be able to tell ChatGPT if you want the message to be professional, if you want it to be informal, if you want it to be firm, if you want it to sound friendly, be able to give it explicit instructions. Another thing is when you're using it for like career development, resume, you should be able to tell ChatGPT the format. If you want it to give you your results in chat meaning it will just copy and paste the result for you in the chat, and then you can now copy and paste it wherever it is you want to use it. Or you can tell it if you want it to be Microsoft Word document, if you want it to be PDF, it's going to highlight this for you. Now, if you're using ChatGPT for messaging, as I was saying earlier, you need to also be able to tell it if it's going to be a Slack message, if it's going to be a WhatsApp message, if it's going to be an email, if it's going to just be an Instagram message. The reason why it's also important is because if it's going to be an Instagram message, there is a particular number of words limit you can use when you're conversing with somebody on Instagram. So it's going to incorporate any response it's going to give you within this number of words. But if you're using it for WhatsApp, it's also going to be able to format your message in a way that when you copy and paste it on WhatsApp, it's not going to be scattered. If it's going to be an email as well, it will already help you to put the necessary formalities like the warm regards, hi, how are you doing, and make it sound very professional since it's going to be an email. So you need to let ChatGPT know what platform you're looking to send your message. Another thing that is very important when you're using ChatGPT is to create folders for your work. If you're asking ChatGPT, hi ChatGPT, I'm hungry, where are the restaurants that I can get food around my area? Those ones are like personal and maybe lifestyle. If you're also using ChatGPT for things like, oh, I'm looking to explore career opportunities in social area, what are the kind of podcasts I can listen to? What are the platforms I can follow? That is professional and career development. So you can also create a folder for it. Why this is important is because all the responses that has been given you over time, one, you'll be able to track it for specific areas of your life. Another thing is it also helps you to personalize responses based on this specific part of your life. See, ChatGPT is a very, very smart tool, but how it will serve you depend on the kind of instruction that you give to it. So try to create folders for this because it will also help you to, if you're looking for something that is specific to only career development, you can just go to that folder and search it instead of having to search through all your chats, which can already be like hundreds because of how much you use ChatGPT. Lastly, and most importantly, when you're giving ChatGPT instruction, you can tell it to act as somebody. When you taught, the reason why this is also good is when you taught ChatGPT to act as somebody, it puts itself in that person's position when providing responses for you. Say, for example, you're trying to prepare for an interview and you go on ChatGPT and you're like, hi ChatGPT, I have an interview tomorrow for the role of a social media manager. This was what they put in the job description, and then you paste the job description. And then you go ahead to tell it, can you act as one of the recruiters that will be on the panel? If you have the recruiter's information, you can already maybe put it and say, her name is this. This is the kind of personality I perceive her to be. Can you please act as this recruiter and give me maybe 5 to 10 interview questions and responses customized based on this job description and my own experience, which in that case, you're also going to add your resume. It's going to customize questions and responses for you. So feel free to tell ChatGPT to act as your recruiter. Even sometimes I used to chat with ChatGPT, so you can tell it to act as your big sister. You can tell it to act as your career coach. You can tell it to act as a gym instructor. You can tell it to act as your manager. It will customize responses based on this. Remember, when you're asking ChatGPT for instructions, make sure you ask for different versions of responses. Why this is important is because you can incorporate different versions into what you want to use as your final results. Don't always copy and paste what ChatGPT gives you, because it's also very good to give it a personal touch. Machine language will always be machine language, no matter how much you customize it. But it's very important to give it your own personal touch, so that when people are reading your text, they will not be like, this girl don't go use ChatGPT. So I hope these instructions are very, very helpful. Let me know any of these that you are going to be trying in the comment below. Bye for now.